After last night's massive win over the Portland Trail Blazers, the Dallas Mavericks are on a historic 2-game win streak as they continue to find more ways than one to get these wins in the absence of Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. Players like Spencer Dinwiddie, Derrick Lively, PJ Washington, and Quentin Grimes have all stepped up in the absence of our superstars and are contributing in more ways than one to find these wins. But there's one other player that isn't getting talked about enough that's kind of flown under the radar over these last few games, but has also stepped up, and that player is Jaden Hardy, which poses an impossible decision upon Nico Harrison on what to do with Jaden Hardy by the trade deadline. Do we sell high since he's been playing very great lately, or do we see this new development in Jaden and we invest in it further by keeping him on the team? So in this video, we're going to take a look at how well has Jaden Hardy been playing lately, what does this mean for him when Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic come back, and what are the pros and cons of keeping him versus trading him. But how's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavericks Digest, bringing you the latest news on everything Mavericks related. And before we get started on today's video, our last video got over 300 likes, almost 400 likes, which I appreciate dearly. So if you're enjoying all the content that we're providing you here at Mavericks Digest with our live streams, watch-alongs, news vids, and everything else in between, go ahead and drop a like on this video. Let's try to get to 400 likes, and I'd appreciate it greatly. But we have to just admit what is going on with the Dallas Mavericks as they're on a 2-game win streak. Of course, Quentin Grimes has been playing out of his mind, definitely playing for a bigger contract, rightfully so. PJ Washington has stepped up as a locker room leader in the absence of Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. Derrick Lively looking amazing. But the other players that are definitely stepping up that aren't getting enough love is Jaden Hardy, who's been absolutely balling in these last several games. Jaden Hardy, who just re-signed with the Dallas Mavericks in the offseason before the start of the season, had somewhat of an up and down start as he got a few DNPs. He was only getting garbage time. He'd go out there for a few minutes, and the moment he made a mistake, Jason Kidd would just pull him back to the bench. And that's kind of been the story of Jaden Hardy's entire time here in Dallas. He's young, he's raw, has a lot of talent, trying to develop by getting those on-court reps. Jason Kidd throws him out. He makes a mistake, you go back to the bench. And in other ways, Jaden Hardy is somewhat of a garbage time hero. He only really sees the floor during garbage time, but he's easily able to put up about 10 points in 5 minutes of garbage time. It's a very much weird in-the-middle situation that Jaden Hardy has been for the majority of his time in Dallas. But in the last several games, he's definitely carved out a little bit of a niche role for himself with the Dallas Mavericks as we are currently without Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. Somewhat of a scorer who's easily just automatic. He's a microwave, easily hitting threes, able to attack the basket and get to the line. But as far as being a point guard to bring the ball down, set up a play, and just make smart reads, he still struggles in that department. But if we take a look at this right here, Jaden Hardy, over his last 4 games, he had 25 points with 5 3-pointers made, shooting 68%. That's his true shooting percentage. He had a 15-point game with 3 rebounds, 2 assists, another 15-point game with 3 rebounds and 3 3-pointers made, and 17 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. Over the last 4 games, Jaden Hardy, all of which coming off the bench, has looked like an amazing role player for us. Many times in this season, we're talking about Najee Marshall as a 6th man. At other times, we're talking about, hey, Quentin Grimes, also a 6th man of the year candidate. But as of lately, of course, Quentin Grimes is also playing well, but Jaden Hardy himself is looking like he's finally taking those steps in his development to become the player that we're asking him for. But the problem is the player that we're asking him for and the player that he truly is may not always align. Like I said, Jaden Hardy is sometimes required to bring the ball down. Sometimes we use him as a ball handler. But the success that we find with Jaden Hardy is when he's off the catch and shoot, when he is just scoring. A lot of times when Jaden Hardy brings the ball down, he's not passing the ball. He's attacking the basket or he's trying to make a play for himself. And so if we're trying to make Jaden Hardy a 1 guard, we're not going to get the most out of Jaden Hardy. As we see on the floor, he is a 2 guard. He is in some ways a lesser version of Quentin Grimes, where we've seen Quentin Grimes being able to make many plays off the catch and shoot. He can also set up plays for other people. He rebounds very well. He has a very high level of basketball IQ. And Jaden Hardy, for the most part, it's a few steps below Quentin Grimes, but as of late, he's taken a few more steps closer to him as far as the scoring goes. But as far as the playmaking, the rebounding, the basketball IQ, he's a little bit below Quentin Grimes, where it seems like we have 2 of the same player, which imposes the impossible decision upon Nico Harrison on what do we do with Jaden Jaden Hardy. The way he's been playing lately, his trade value has to be going up. We know the Dallas Mavericks are active in trade talks and are willing to use a first-round pick. We've talked about how we're looking for front court depth, trying to replace Maxi Kleber for a better backup power forward. And the way Jaden Hardy is, yeah, you might be able to have better success with Jaden Hardy in any trade talks. But then in the other video, we talked about how Quentin Grimes declined a contract extension at the start of the season. And even though he is going to be a restricted free agent, he may get a high offer sheet in the offseason that we could honestly match. We have the money for it. But do we want to go into these aprons trying to keep Quentin Grimes when we kind of have a lesser Quentin Grimes right now in Jaden Hardy? Do we trade Jaden Hardy while his value is high? Or do we let Quentin Grimes walk if Quentin Grimes doesn't show signs of wanting to come back, and we just invest in Jaden Hardy? And if we take a look at his stats for the season, honestly, his averages aren't that spectacular. Similar to Quentin Grimes, their averages aren't crazy, but the way they've been playing lately are way better than their season averages. But for the season, Jaden Hardy is averaging 8.2 points, 1.5 rebounds, 1.3 assists, 0.2 blocks, 0.6 steals, 1.4 turnovers, 1.6 fouls per game, while shooting 44% from the field, 39% from three. He shoots 47% on corner threes, 89% of his threes are assisted, and 47% of all shots are threes. And another just crazy fact about Jaden Hardy that they showed in last night's game, wild stat, Jaden Hardy is very, very good when he's focused on catch and shoot threes. And since December 18th in the NBA, Jaden Hardy leads the league in 3-point percentages, shooting 55.6% from three. That's better than Gary Trent Jr., better than LeBron James, better than AJ Green, better than the rest of the league. Jaden Hardy has been amazing for us in the last few stretches of games, which again, it just poses the question, do we sell high or do we invest in the new development of Jaden Hardy? We trust that this isn't just a recency bias. This isn't just a short, small sample size that we're going to overblow that, yep, Jaden Hardy's here, we're going to keep him, we're going to roll with him. The decision that we have to make is very, very crucial. Jaden Hardy's contract that he did sign before the start of the season, a lot of people thought we couldn't trade it, but I had to do some digging. And Lauren Gunn had tweeted this out not too long ago saying, update, Bobby Marks has informed me that Jaden Hardy is eligible to be traded this season as he did not meet the 6-month restriction despite what is reported on Spotrac. So if anybody's trying to make any trade machines with Jaden Hardy, and it may say you can't do it, you technically can trade Jaden Hardy. I know there's the whole poison pill clause as well with Jaden Hardy. But this is where the fork in the road meets for the Dallas Mavericks. We had not really a similar situation last season, but we did have a big decision to make. Do we invest in what we have? Do we look at Grant Williams? Do we look at Seth Curry? Do we look at Rashawn Holmes, as these are good role players that we can keep? I'm going to trust that they're going to get better. Or do we look at their value, we try to find better, and we move on? And just to take a look at Jaden Hardy's contract, he did sign a 3-year, $18 million contract. Very, very team-friendly, only $6 million a year, which any other team that might be tanking, that may want younger talent, could look at this as a great contract. The way that Jaden Hardy's been playing lately is well above his contract. $6 million a year, and he's been putting up 25, 17, 14 points per game. He's leading the league in 3-point percentage since the middle of December. Jaden Hardy's trade value has slowly but surely gone through the roof. And me personally, I think that you can go either way with it. I'm not saying I want Jaden Hardy gone. I'm not saying I want to trade Jaden Hardy. But I also understand that if we do know for sure that we can keep Quentin Grimes, I don't think there's much reason to keep Jaden Hardy. Once when Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic are both back, Jaden Hardy may not really have any type of role with the team. He may go back to being at the end of the bench. He may go back to just being a garbage time hero, only coming out when necessary. Break glass in case of emergency, boom, there's Jaden Hardy. Where we could give him what he deserves. Go to a team where he can actually get some run, actually get some minutes, and get some real-time development instead of playing behind Quentin Grimes, playing behind Klay Thompson, playing behind Kyrie Irving, where you're not the second, third, or, you're probably the third or fourth string in your position, but when the team is fully healthy, Jaden Hardy just kind of takes a back seat. There's not a lot of room for him. And like I said earlier in the video, when we do have everybody, anytime Jaden Hardy makes the most minor, small mistake, Jason Kidd pulls him out of the game. And at times, I understand. As great as Jaden Hardy has been, like in every reason that I've said already in this video, the downside to Jaden Hardy's game is his defense. Almost, not every game, but almost every game, it feels like he's going to commit a 3-point foul to give the other team a 4-point play, or it's always an and one foul. His defense is very reckless at times, and I understand being a young player, he doesn't always get the whistle himself. Other players get refed or get officiated differently by the referees, depending on your stats and how long you've been in the league. That is a well-known fact. So Jaden Hardy doesn't always get the friendliest of whistles from the refs, but at many, many times he'll commit just boneheaded turnovers. He's playing too reckless. The defense isn't necessarily there. But if you can mask those mistakes with just excellent offense like Jaden Hardy's been doing, then there may be a reason to keep him. No reason to trade him. No reason to get rid of the chemistry because we drafted him. He's been here for 3 years. There is a lot of good reasons why we should keep him, but I also understand from a business standpoint what you need to do to better the team, and you look at Jaden Hardy and the value that he's creating by playing so well. Do you invest further in his development by keeping him on the team, or do you look at this value, you see what you can go after, and you make the right moves for the team? And the last thing I want to show you guys is this right here. It was a comment on my last video, and I think this just hits the nail on the head about Jaden Hardy. This user commented saying, Hardy is turning into a sharpshooter. Confidence level on shooting is very high. That's his role. Kid is to blame for Hardy's bad, putting him in a position that he should never be in. He's not a point guard. He's a poor decision maker, poor turnovers, but as a catch and shoot, and if continues to improve his defense, he could be a stud. Pleasantly surprised at his contribution this week, and I have to agree. Again, I don't want to trade Jaden Hardy. I don't want to see Hardy gone. I love the Hardy parties, and he's been playing excellent, but I think we need to play him a little bit different. Instead of saying, hey, you're a one guard, you're going to be playing just like Kyrie or Spencer Dinwiddie, we need to play him like we're playing Quentin Grimes. Now, obviously, Quentin Grimes has more to his tool belt and more in his bag than Jaden Hardy, but playing Jaden Hardy as a shooting guard, someone to just score off the catch and shoot, being able to attack the basket and try and get to the line, putting Jaden Hardy in those positions to be more successful can help the team find more wins. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you think that we should keep Jaden Hardy, invest further in his development, and just have him stay a Maverick? Or do you think we should just bundle him up in a trade package by the trade deadline, sell him while he's high, and try and get somebody back that can help this team as we try to make it back to the finals? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. We can have a conversation about it. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for making this far to the video. Make sure to check out our Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below. Consider becoming a channel member. We are doing giveaway every single month on this channel. Only way to enter our giveaways is become a channel member of any tier. But until next time, y'all take care, drink water. Peace.